housing market crash this year? The question that everybody's asking. Interest rates are rising, and people are wondering, have the past 2 years just been a bubble that's about to pop? Well, stay tuned to hear my market predictions for the rest of 2022. What's up, everyone? My name is Sarah Sperber. I'm a real estate agent here in beautiful Reno, Nevada. I'm so happy you could join me today. Before we get started, go ahead and click that like button and hit the subscribe button down below. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok for other kinds of content, and I will post my handles in the description box below. Okay, let's get into it. First of all, can we just talk about what a crazy 2 years it has been in this housing market? I mean, it's just wild. Just a little bit about me. I got into this industry as an agent just at the end of 2020 after several years of investing in my own properties in the area. And I picked quite a crazy time to get involved, didn't I? Okay, so the big question on everyone's mind is, will the rising interest rates be enough to force the pricing down? So if we have to think about the buyers who were able to qualify for loans when interest rates were much lower, now a lot of those people are probably going to be unable to qualify for loans. So is that going to cause a shift in the market? Is that going to force the hands of the sellers because they're not going to have as many qualified buyers? Well, we also still have to consider that the scarcity in this market is very real, and that isn't going to change anytime soon. There are far more people who need homes than there are places to live. Okay, let's unpack that a little bit. So while we're talking about scarcity, we can talk about how millennials are actually now officially the largest demographic of home buyers in the market, followed very closely by Gen Z. It kind of cringes me to say this, and I hate saying it, but in just a few years, Gen Z will be turning 30. I know, that's terrible. So with these two generations, millennials and Gen Z, now entering the house and home buying market, that's a huge base of people in need. And so there's been very little increase in inventory in the past 10 years. And now we're seeing all of these people who need to buy and have nowhere to go. So basically, the supply chain would have to work very hard to catch up with the increasing demand. I don't see that number going the other way. So that is a huge factor in why the market isn't going to be cooling down anytime soon. The imbalance between supply and demand is the main reason why housing prices have escalated so quickly. So in a balanced market, which means equal weight between buyers and sellers, you would have about 6 months of inventory on the market. As of last month, at the end of March, we closed in the Reno Sparks market with 0.7 months, so less than 1 month of inventory on the market. So the likelihood of it shifting from a buyer's to seller's market is pretty unlikely, never mind it even shifting more into balance with 6 months online. Another reason why the market likely won't cool down or crash is because borrowers are a lot less likely to default on their mortgages than they were in the early 2000s. So lending regulations and standards and all the credit scores and all the checks and balances that lenders have to kind of jump through and have clients jump through to get mortgage approval have really tightened since the early 2000s. So I don't think that we're going to be seeing a lot of people defaulting on their loans because buyers now have to be a lot more qualified in order to get financing than they did in those days. There are, of course, a few other things going on in the world that we need to weigh into the equation. So there has been a lot of discussion around the possibility of a recession. This could ultimately trigger a slowdown in consumer spending, right? So, the economy's receding, people aren't going to be spending as freely. The economists at Goldman and Sachs Group estimate that there is a 35% chance of this happening. That would obviously have an impact on the economy at large, but also directly would impact the housing market. And also the war between Russia and Ukraine obviously isn't helping the economy. So overall, with the housing shortage and new construction lagging behind, it's likely that housing prices are going to continue to rise for the foreseeable future. Also, mortgage rates are predicted to go up at least a couple of more times just this year. So, if you are considering buying, my best advice would be to get in right away as soon as you can before it's just unachievable. You're going to want to get in now before the prices and the mortgage rates continue to rise. Obviously, I'm not a psychic. I don't have a crystal ball, so there's no real way to know what's going to happen, but I am curious what you guys think. So go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know your opinion of what's going to happen for the rest of the 2022 year in the housing market. And hey, if you are considering purchasing or selling your home in 2022, I'd love to chat. I can maybe go over what that would look like for you personally, answer any questions you have. Absolutely no pressure and absolutely free. So I'm going to leave a link down below. It's to Calendly. That's what I use to book these calls. I'm going to leave it in the description below, but I would love to learn your story and just kind of see where you're at so that you have absolute clarity on what your next and best steps might look like. All right, that's all I have for you on this topic today, but lots more to come. So make sure, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.